What I'm saying is that information too can be influenced.
It can be influenced.
So how do you begin to say that is subjective or objective, as it were?
It is an objective. The provision there is an objective provision. What I mean objective provision is that it does not depend on the definition to integrity given by Mr. President alone. It doesn't even depend on the definition given by PDP or any person. It depends on a casual bystanding person's view. That is why.
Look at this now. You said something about it. I know, even though you've clarified that, you've clarified and you said that the fact that somebody is a good leader doesn't mean that the person is non-partisan.
Exactly.
But as far as he was concerned, it seemed you were sort of impinging on the integrity of the leader of his community.
Don't forget that the requirements of appointment is not disjunctive. That is, they are not separate. They are conjunctive. That is, they are together. You must be a person of unquestionable integrity and character. You must not belong to a political party. So even if you are a person of unquestionable character and integrity, and you belong to a political party, you are disqualified. So good leadership is not enough. Good personness is not enough. Good moral attitude is not enough. You also must ensure that that person does not belong to a political party.
So now what do we do in this case? Is it that everyone and anyone that was once upon a time a member of any political party, irrespective of what you finally turn out to be, shouldn't even be appointed?
I think you are premising wrongly. Sorry to say that, to use that phrase. Once upon a time is a different ball game. It's a different discussion. What we are saying is presently.
No, because even you have even told us here that no one has come forward to say publicly that he or she has denounced.
Exactly.
And for the fact that we haven't seen it in the public doesn't mean that maybe in his word, because what they do, they all start this registration from their wards, so it is likely that he has renounced his membership of the ruling PDP in his ward.
When there are questions as to conflicts, it is what is available that you use. There's no art to find the construction of a man's mind on his face, except by what he does or what he says sometimes. So it is what we see, what is available to us, that we will act upon. For now, there has not been evidence to the contrary that some of these necks or wrecks, as the case may be, who have been alleged to be members of a political party are not members of the political party.
So with this complaint uproar about nominations, is it an indication that something somewhere is fishy?
Yes, obviously, that is the point. Something somewhere is fishy.
Mr.
Like
Ikeji,
what? Speculations?
No, I'm not answering that question, Chamberlain, because that question wasn't meant for me. But going to Mr. Ikeji now, I would want to know. Are you just seeking an explanation for the reasons those names were nominated? Is that what you're seeking?
I don't mind that. Come and explain to the people, to the public, that this is the reason why this person was nominated and confirmed, and that the reasons are quite constitutional. Once you say that, then there will be no problem. Yes, there will be no problem. As far as we are concerned, the information available to us is that some of them belong to political parties, and that is clear aberration, a clear derogation.
Mr. Ikeji, if you said this is a clear constitutional matters, why didn't we, or is it rather too late for us to go back to the appointments and nomination of these men and women into such positions, so that we can as well amend the constitution, so that the the president in the case of states, the governors shouldn't even nominate those who become the state electoral commissioners.
A governor can nominate a non-partisan person. People that are good are available everywhere. You make your research and you get good people. Now, I don't. Why I said I know where your question is going is that we can have two solutions to the issue: either constitutional solution or court solution. We as lawyers, we in the public domain, civil society groups, in fact, any person, I dare say, is entitled to go out there to the courts and try the cause, bring this matter before the court, and ask the court to proclaim or pronounce whether or not.
Which is what they should be seeking to do now.
That's what. Yes, someone like me, I am going to go to court. I will look for all the facts, all the documentations and the facts available, and I will proceed to court and ask the court to to determine whether or not a person who belongs to a political party is entitled to be appointed as a NEC or as a REC. And I will ask the question whether some of those RECs have denounced their membership of those political parties as at last time that it was available to the public domain.
What if they see you as a meddlesome interloper?
That is the principle of local standard. It's me against the court. The court will decide whether I will be a meddlesome interloper. That's the principle of meddlesome interloper has become a watershed. It has become a problem to the Nigerian jurisprudence, to the Nigerian law. Somebody who finds in the public interest something that is going wrong is entitled to go out there to the court and ask the court to pronounce on this and correct that wrong. That is the principle of local standard, and a lot of cases have decided that you can go into a matter without it necessarily being personally touched once you can prove that it affects something that affects you. Ganifa Emi has gone into the public domain in that regards. Now back to my earlier point that we can address it from two grounds. I have addressed the fact of the court. We can also go to section 155 sub 2 of the 1999 Constitution as amended. That section provides that where any circumstances arise that a person, were he not a member, would have been disqualified, that person would have to relinquish his position. Let me read, probably so that for the interest of our viewers. A member of any of these bodies, mean INEC, Nigeria Judicial Council, and all that, shall cease to be a member if any circumstances arise that, if he were not a member of the body, would cause him to be disqualified for appointment as such a member, shall cease to be a member. So if we are bringing it out to the public domain, probably in Senate and the president didn't have it didn't have the knowledge that this man still belongs to their political party as it were, and we now prove it that he still belongs to the political party by section 155 sub 2. Such a person should cease immediately. You don't even need to go to court.
What if the person resigns?
So be it.
I mean, what I mean is resign as a member of a political party.
After confirmation?
Yes.
No, that is impossible. The law, the constitution has already been breached. It is no longer resignation.
So it's a condition precedent.
Yes, he has ceased. So the principle of cessation comes before the principle of resignation as far as the person is concerned. So even if he resigns, it will be termed that he has ceased to be a member of the body.
When you say that there has to is an objective test, the question of unquestionable character.
Yes, integrity.
So what if they test it and people say, okay, let him be? Yet
that's why I said it's conjunctive. That's why I said it's conjunctive. It is not disjunctive. You don't take the test of unquestionable character on its own and use it as the sole basis of your decision. You have to combine it with the fact of his belonging to a political party.
So it must have that combined effect?
Yes, it must have that combined effect.
But that's interesting from the way these things go now, and because at the end of the day, there are those who predicate some of these actions on speculations as to who will be going to do something where.
Yes.
But what if all of those at the end of the day just happens to be just flying a kite to see how people respond?
That is the problem we have with the polity. When information is scarce, speculations prosper. When you like in a relationship, in a marriage relationship, there is no communication. The other party would necessarily make up his or her mind as to what the other party is doing. So there should be information out there in the public domain to help the people understand the policies of the government. That is why speculations are over everywhere. We are entitled to speculate because we don't have information that we ought to have. Or even if we have, the ones that we have show to the contrary that our speculations are correct.
But isn't that also an indictment on the part of the public? Because if this goes on, does that presuppose the fact that, well, as long as they get this wrapped up, they can always have their way? Because at the lower rung or the whole ladder, they won't be able to muster the courage to say, well, our votes
that is a socio-political issue in the Nigerian society. Now, you saw when some of these governors recently were being arraigned, you saw how common men like you and I were running after their vehicles and hailing them. Now, why do such things happen? It means that those elites, some of us who are enlightened, those elites that these common men look up to as, standard bearers, as models, so to speak, tend to encourage corruption. And when they do that and they get stipends, they too will see that they will think that is the best thing to do. So they just back on me they keep quiet because
I mean, that's one interpretation. Another person can say that these people are truly being politically persecuted, as it were, because most times you hear that I'm being persecuted because of my stance, or am I the only one, or who says I did, you know, all of this. Your stance will mean that the person is guilty, you know, before I will have to
no, that is not my stance.
Himself or herself innocent.
That is not my stance, Mokpe. That is not my stance. My stance stems from antecedents, from precedents, from what has been happening. We saw when a politician was released from prison, we saw the crowd of people that attended to him.
Because there's still a host of people who, Sulaiman, who still believe that he was politically persecuted.
But the legal process has said he was guilty. As far as the legal process has said he was guilty, he is guilty. And we should look at it that way.
Well, now, let me come in. Let's go back to the Merusom interloper here again. Look at it, for instance, you just mentioned governors. Got some of us thinking about the governors we have now. They're just not all from one party. That means we have oppositions from within their midst. So how come none of them have publicly raised any kind of objections towards all of this? Isn't that an indication that
towards all of what?
Towards this R.E.C and NEC, isn't that an indication that all is well?
You may wish to go back, and we may wish to go back and look deeply into where some of these R.E.Cs are being sent to, whether the places they are being sent to coincide with the same political structure to which they belong. I don't think it's proven. There's an evidence that some of these R.E.Cs who belong probably, let's say, to CPC have been sent to a state that is controlled by ACN, or a state that is controlled by PDP. If that happens, I'm very sure that voices would arise.
Does this all lead to some possible electoral violence if we don't get them changed now? Because now I'm concerned. I'm trying to look at the security implication of all of this. Yes. If people have been complaining and nothing is done practically, and at the end of the day we go to the polls, results are announced, are we likely to see some kind of
I wouldn't
rash reaction?
I wouldn't say that it will lead to electoral violence, but I would say that it has implications on the minds of the people. Now, talking about security implications are, I would define them as two-way. Security, are you talking about security for the government officials in their positions, or are you talking about security for the interest of the people? If you are talking about security for the interest of the people, if these people need to go to the streets to protest or to ask for what rightfully belongs to them, for goodness sake, let them go out there and ask for it.